This isn't our normal video. Stay tuned ahead as we're actually going to dive into some politics, and there might be some trigger warnings. So, stay tuned. Hello. Today's video is more personal. I will give you a heads up. If you're sensitive to certain topics, this might have trigger warnings, especially as we normally on our channel don't really get too political. However, things that are going on, even over the past many years, where basically I've just sat down quiet and not said much, or taking things in stride as crap has hit the fan, so to speak. I finally sort of hit my breaking point. And I think a lot of people are hitting their breaking points. So this is going to be more political, my thoughts, my views on things. And so if that's not your cup of tea, I understand this is a homesteading channel, but I can only be quiet for so long. And so this is just my personal opinion. I'm not going to put words in my wife's mouth or anything like that, because her views are hers. Not saying they're different or the same. If she wants, she'll make a video, I'm sure, of her views. But I did tell her that I would be making this video, and so a little bit about how I'm feeling about things. First of all, I consider myself an independent. I dislike all politicians equally. Pretty much any politician is a liar and a cheat, even if they go in office with the best of intentions. Normally they come out crooked. It's amazing how you see these senators or congressmen, how they'll go and have very little money at the start of their campaign running, and they win, and then when they get out of office, they're multi-millionaires. Funny how that works. But with that said, I do lean more conservative than liberal. There's some things I don't agree with, some things that, I'm more moderate with, But overall, I consider myself more conservative, but I dislike Republicans as well, because a lot of them just tell you what, are the same as Democrats. I mean, they tell you what you want to hear. I'm not the type of person that's going to vote Republican no matter what. I want to know what they stand for. I want to hear what they have to say, and I want to see what they do. Because if they don't do what they say, then I'm not voting for them again. With that said, I will say this. Our wonderful election is coming up. I don't care who you vote for. That is your right. I fought for that right, for you to vote for whoever that you want. For me, it is very much needed that as many people vote as possible, and I'm seeing a lot of that turnout where we live, and it gives me some hope. When it comes to Donald Trump, personally, I don't like the man. He's arrogant. He's a sexist. He's just, his personality, I don't like. On top of that, I don't like how he constantly puts his foot in his mouth on Twitter or says things that are like, really? On the flip side, I cannot imagine the world, how it will be if Kamala Harris gets elected and we have 4 more years or worse of Joe Biden. When I don't care how you stand, again, I fought for your right to stand and vote for who you want. But when I look at where I was 4 years ago, pre-COVID, to where we are now, and look at what Trump did in office, to me, I challenge people to look at and name one thing that Trump did while in office that made America worse. Inflation was lower. We didn't have as many illegals coming across the border. There were plenty of jobs to be found. Now, did he change the abortion? In a way, but he didn't ban it. For people that just focus on one issue, and abortion is that one issue, I look at him and I say, listen, all he did was hand it back to the states. He didn't ban it. He didn't say you can't have an abortion. He said, all right, states, where me as an individual, you as an individual, have more say in your state than the federal government. So if you don't like what your state did, try to get overturned in your state. If you don't like what your state is doing, move to a state that you do like. If you want an abortion, go to a state that actually supports that. For me, when it comes to abortion, I'm pretty much against it except for a few circumstances. One, if they're raped, or they're a minor or incest or something like that, or if the mother's life is physically in danger, if having that baby is going to potentially kill her. Because my view on it is, it takes two people to tango. Unless you were raped or one of those scenarios happened, then you made that conscious choice. If you do that, and then you're like, oh, well, I don't like this outcome, so I want to change that. That's basically the same thing as saying, okay, I'm going to drink as much as I can and want, and then get on the road, and I don't want to face any consequences if I get pulled over by drunk driving. You know your risk. You know that if you do something, there are consequences to it. And I think that's one of the things that have actually hurt this country as a whole. The No Child Left Behind rule. I taught college English for one semester. When they hired me, I told them that I was not going to pass any student that didn't actually put in the work. I ended up failing over 66% of my students because they came in bragging that they failed English and they were still passed even though they didn't. Most of them didn't even turn in a single assignment and they still expected that they were going to pass. Many of them didn't know how to spell, didn't know how to write a complete sentence, didn't know what a noun was. This is college English. There were no consequences for these students. They all knew that in high school or in school, they were just going to be passed, even though they didn't actually earn their grade. I know teachers personally that have told me that they cannot fail a student. Even parents, if you do give a child a bad grade, I hear parents coming and arguing against the teacher that, oh, they should have done more. If your child's not doing the work, there should be consequences. There should not be free handouts. You know, there was at one time a work ethic. When you go back and you look at history, there in the 1950s, 1960s even, you could own a house, not be a college graduate, married, have children, and still live a fairly comfortable. You're not living a rich lifestyle, but you owned a house, you own land, you own a car, and you're raising a family on one income. Where do you see that now? Good luck. You know, now it takes more than one income normally just to even buy a house. And it keeps on going up. You know, when it comes to Facebook, how many people have been in Facebook jail because they said something that the company didn't like, and who was pressured, and who even admitted that they were pressured about by the administration, the current administration. You know, freedom of speech. Today, I'll give you a good example that my wife got a message or commented on a post that she believed in free speech, and she basically thought that this certain individual was being kind of attacked, and they stood up for him. Or my wife stood up for her. And then the person that was sort of attacking the other individual lashed out at her, basically saying, if you don't believe what I believe, you're wrong, you're ignorant, and you're stupid. You know, to me, you have the right to believe what you want. Don't force those beliefs on me. You know, at one time, after segregation and everything, do I believe that African Americans needed an extra hand up to actually get ahead? Yes. Now, not so much. You're on the same level playing field, whether you believe it or not. You know, you're a U.S. citizen, or I'm going to assume you are. You know, and you're not one of the millions of illegals that have come in across the border. But you have the right to same education. You have the right to work hard. And you got to work for and earn what you get. If I'm an employer, I should have the right to hire who I believe is the best candidate. I don't care whether you're male, female, what race you are, what sex you are. I should be able to hire what I feel is the best candidate for my company. I should not be forced to meet quotas on, oh, I didn't hire enough African Americans or enough Chinese or Indian or gay or lesbian or, you know, any of that DEI crap. You know, I should be able to hire the best person for the job. That's how companies work and run well. When you hire crappy employees, guess what? Your company doesn't do as well. Or like for us, if I go to a restaurant and I get crappy service, or the food is absolutely horrendous, guess what? I make the conscious choice that I don't go there again. If you, as an individual, don't like the company for hiring who they believe is best, you do not have to go there. That is your right. Just like the right for the employer should be to hire whoever they want, you have the right to say, you know what? I'm not shopping there anymore, or I'm not going there anymore. That's how things should work. Now, for the election, I told you I don't like Trump as a person, but I also asked you to look at and review what his policies were and what actually you dislike about what he did while he was in office. If the only thing that you can think of is, oh, he made it where abortion was kicked back to the states, you should look harder at the other candidates running right now against him. What has Kamala Harris, who has been in office as vice president for the past 3.5+ years, what has she done? Well, she was put in charge of the border. And what happened when she was put in charge of the border? Oh, we've had a lot more illegals and crime coming over across the border. All right. What else has she done? Right before the Ukraine war, she was asked to go talk to Vladimir Putin. What happened after she talked with him? I think within a day or 2 days, Russia invaded Ukraine. What do you think China would do if she was sent or was our president and she had a meeting with them? Can she put 2 sentences together? What is her policies? Oh, she'll give you free money? Look at those policies closer. A lot of that is focused for illegal aliens or other people, or have little conditions that you probably don't meet. Everyone wants free stuff nowadays. I hate to tell you, there's nothing free. Someone's paying for it. When you look at how many billions of dollars have been sent to Ukraine, it's over $175 billion that we have sent to Ukraine since the war started. Now again, I'm all about helping people. In fact, we made a video on helping people and how that feeling can make you. But before we're sending in all this money overseas, we need to make sure our own house is in order. Our own U.S. citizens are being helped. Not sending billions of dollars to other countries. Not alone, but here you go. You know, divide, just do a little math here. $175 billion divided by $50,000. How many people would end up with $50,000? How many Hurricane Helene victims or people that lost their house could use $50,000? Oh, that's what FEMA's for? Let's think about that. I will say that we were blessed when we were not hit too bad when the hurricane hit. On our property, anyway. But within 15 minutes or less from where we live, it was hit bad. All around us. We have been trying to help people. We've helped our local community, our local homestead community. We've been helping send supplies, organize things. There have been people from out of state that have sent wonderful things, whether it be hay that we've gotten, whether it be heaters for the cold nights that we've had, or clothing, or water. We've had people from Mississippi, Ohio, Kentucky contact us. We normally tell them, don't send it to the local government or to FEMA. Send it to the churches or in the areas that you want it to be distributed to. Because guess what? The churches normally know those that are in need. And even if they don't know them, they're still opening up and saying, okay, if you need this, here it is. The past few weeks, I've seen little to no FEMA. I've seen a little bit recently, but not like. But what gives me hope is all these people that have banded together, both in the state, around the state, and other states have sent things. That gives me hope. People have been working diligently, trying to rebuild, trying to get things, trying to help others. That is a warming sensation. And I'm grateful, and that does bode well for the future. But imagine if we had all that money that we've sent to other countries that we could use to help Hurricane Milton, the poor, the homeless, the actual citizens, veterans, those that have disabilities and want to work but might not be able to. When it comes to government, why are we as a people wanting to trust and put our hands and our faith in a government? When has that ever worked out for people, for the everyday person? Oh, government's important? Yes. Do they need to run and be the highest employers in the nation? No. That's not what it's meant for. It's meant to protect us. We're meant to run the government, not the other way around. That's called dictatorship. That's kind of what we've had for the past 40 years, is dictatorships. Government is supposed to work for the people. Our government is supposed to work for us. I know a lot of people that will vote Democrat, or if regardless, it could be Hitler that is running. But if he has a D by his name, they're voting for him. Same thing on the Republican side. I know a lot of people that will vote for Republican. It doesn't matter what their values are or what they've done. That person's a Republican. I'm going to vote for him no matter what. That's what gets us in trouble. I don't care what side you're on. If Hitler has your values and you want to vote for them, then fine. I fought for you that right, for you to be able to do that and vote for that person. But think about what their values are, what they're bringing to the table. Don't blindly follow these people. Oh, they've got a D on their name, or oh, they've got an R on their name. I'm voting for that person. How many people have you seen that they'll run as one, like a Republican, because most of their area is Republican? But when they get in the office, they do basically the opposite of everything. Vice versa. Same thing for the Democrats. How many of you have voted for a Democrat that has ran on the Democrat ticket, and when they get elected, they're more moderate than you thought, or more Republican voting, so to speak? Think for yourselves. You've got that right, or at least right now you have that right. I think I've ranted enough. Who knows? I might have another rant or two in me before the election's over, but look at the policies. Look at what each person stands for. You know, Carmela says, I'm for the people and I'm running for the people. Well, I'm part of that people. She doesn't believe in what I believe, so guess what? I'm not being silent anymore. I'm not going to be the silent majority. Maybe your views are different than mine. I respect that. You know, go to YouTube, depending on how long this is lasts and is able to be up. Who knows? I might be censored and they'll take it off. Wouldn't surprise me. Put your own video up. Heck, go vote. You might cancel my vote out, but that's your right. Just like it's my right to vote. And you should vote. Thank you.
You're ready.
Are you filming now?
I could edit.
Just delete it. I'll let you know when I'm ready.
I said whenever you're ready.
Yeah, why keep on filming so you can put in funny clips like, I know you.
Of course.
Today, I'm going to go on sort of a rant. If you're sensitive and weary of